Hello, everyone, and welcome to another vlog. I'm in Burbank, California, at the Blast from the Past toy store. It's a vintage toy store that looks pretty robust, so we'll go check it out and see what they have in store. Never used that one.
Before we go in, look at this awesome mural that they have with tons of pop culture references. Batman, Frankenstein, Darth Vader, Spider-Man, Back to the Future, Doctor Who, lots of things. So let's go ahead and, it's just a cool exterior for this store. We'll go ahead and make our way in to Blast from the Past. Alright, and when you first get in, there's actually this Halloween display that they have, including various items, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, Elvira, Haunted Mansion related things, including the hitchhiking ghosts and the Haunted Mansion itself. So pretty cool that they have this set up, seems like all year. And then they have these shelves over here that are loaded with retro toys. On top of the shelves include the Ghostbuster Firehouse, which I always wanted as a kid. They have it here for quite a bit. And the Masters of the Universe Castle Grayskull, classic toy. And if we walk around, you just see it's just loaded with various things. You got superheroes over here, including DC and Marvel superhero classics. They've got Scooby-Doo toys on the shelf. You have Shaggy over here. The Addams Family animated series. You have Lurch. Let's see what's behind this. Pugsley, Uncle Fester, and Granny. I remember this cartoon from back in the day. So they have those toys, old Ghostbuster toys. Over here, even Simpsons action figures, all the various characters. Even the Golden Girls, it looks like. You got Blanche, Rose, Dorothy, and Sophia with her purse. And Pie, I want to say. Is that part of the Sophia thing? Let me know in the comments. And then they had these Ghostbuster items, which I've wanted. I had some of these back in the day. I had that Egon where he's wearing that spacesuit looking thing. And I always wanted that ghost catcher thing as a kid. Have it here. They got some Smurfs, another throwback. G.I. Joe, of course, a classic. And even looks like Mighty Ducks toys. They have Ninja Turtle toys. I had some of these back in the day. It's like early 90s toys. I think my cousin had that Raphael baseball player one. But yeah, looks like quite the collection of Ninja Turtles. And then, of course, Power Rangers. I had the red Power Ranger, I remember. I still might have that somewhere. How much are they? Oh, they're not selling for that much. But yeah, another classic. Masters of the Universe as well. I was a little, I think, too young when that was a big thing, so I don't have much He-Man stuff. But I do have this Ghostbuster car, the Ecto one. I have that still. And the door, I think, is missing or falling off, just like that one there. So pretty funny. But yeah, quite the collection here. And of course, more Masters of the Universe and G.I. Joe. And it looks like some Halloween related things against this wall over here. We'll take a look at that. The trick-or-treat bags with like retro designs. That's pretty cool. You can get them year round apparently. And yeah, so quite the collection here. And speaking of Halloween, they have these year-round masks on display, including classic Universal monsters, and then just other horror movies like Halloween, and then just various other masks. That thing from Spirit Halloween, Chucky. It's a lot of horror things here. They've got a gremlin on the wall, and then they also have the classic Universal monster toys. These were seen at Universal Studios store as well. And they have more monsters on display here. Classic Universal Frankenstein. You have Herman Munster in the back there. Universal Dracula, other Draculas, Creature from the Black Lagoon. A lot of various kind of monster and horror figures here. These look like Monster in My Pockets, but they're not. Maybe this was a precursor. Didn't anyone have those? I used to have a very tiny collection of Monsters in My Pocket, which look just like that. And then they have more figures here as well, kind of classic horror movies. Again, Halloween, Dracula, Some movies I don't even recognize. Beetlejuice down here. I remember I used to have a Beetlejuice toy way back in the day. It was a grave he popped out of. Got Vincent Price toy over there, Elvira. Some more horror here, including these creepy gremlin-looking things, but more of a collection here. And then classic Universal monsters again, Frankenstein, the ultimate classic. And what's interesting with this toy store as well is, aside from the kind of smaller things, they have these giant things, and it's for sale too, like this dinosaur here you can get for sale, and that would actually scare people on Halloween. And then they had these Haunted Mansion tombstones, which are pretty cool. Dear departed brother Dave, he chased a bear into a cave. R.I.P. cousin Hewitt, we all know you didn't do it. So, very high price, but apparently these were sold somewhere at some time. So if you have those, keep them. Back to the Future items here. A smaller DeLorean. You got the animated Marty, and then the detailed Marty and Biff in the back there. You have Biff sitting on a DeLorean. Here we go, better focus. But there's Marty and Biff detailed again, and then a larger DeLorean. And then you have Godzilla. Every vintage toy store always has Godzilla. Star Trek related items as well, including action figures, and then some of the, I guess, things that you use to like communicate. I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan, but they had those things. They have a DeLorean time machine here, which is pretty cool. A larger scale version that was also at the Universal store. Then the animated series figures, and then more kind of detailed Marty and Biff with interchangeable heads. So pretty interesting there. And then, like I said, more Star Trek. And there's more masks over here. I got some Goosebumps masks, including the Haunted Mask and the Dummy. Night of the Living Dummy, I believe, is the name of that one. Of course, we saw Frankenstein earlier. They have Twilight Zone masks, which is pretty cool. So from very classic episodes of the Twilight Zone. I've never actually seen these before. So they have that. And if we look over here, you have Spider-Man in a giant spider car. I would have loved this as a kid. Actually, if it went somewhere. This is one of those that just kind of, it's like at a grocery store. It just sits there and kind of moves around a little. But nonetheless, still would have loved it. So they do have this, and I believe it's for sale. It's funny because Spider-Man doesn't really need or use a car. He swings on webs, right? But sometimes just for the sake of selling things, they have him in a car. Speaking of famous superhero cars, you got the Batmobile from the 1960s Batman over here, which is pretty detailed and well done. Looks just like it. And then more superheroes in these cases over here, including both Marvel and DC. If we go closer, you can see you got Batman, especially the 1980s Batman, the 1960s Adam West Batman figure here. The villains, you have the Joker, of course, and Harley Quinn and Mr. Freeze, and some Superman toys over here. I don't know what these are, but they have, I guess, more Superman. He's in the back there. And, of course, Spider-Man and some Marvel figures like Captain America, Giant Iron Man over there that are more for display. And then more action figures from both Marvel and DC, including kind of more kid figures at the bottom here, like bobbleheads, things of that nature. They have a lot of pretty cool magnets. They have Jurassic Park, it looks like, Jaws, some ruby slippers. This, of course, stands out the most to me, the Back to the Future magnet. That one's pretty cool. And we'll end here. They have a pretty cool Walt Disney section, including a statue of Walt that's pretty awesome with Mickey on him, a picture of Walt Disney, and then this book.
All right, I've left the Blast from the Past toy store. I ended up getting that Walt Disney book. Seemed interesting enough. Anything Walt Disney usually gets my attention, so it seemed pretty cool. His life in pictures. But yeah, they had tons of cool merchandise, as you saw, just across various genres, many of which are behind me on this cool mural. But yeah, definitely a really cool store. I recommend checking it out. It's Blast from the Past, vintage toy store in Burbank, California. And yeah, please subscribe to my channel. I do more of these types of videos, podcast style videos with friends, theme park videos, etc. So check it out. A lot of what I think is interesting content, but I'm biased. But feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.